Moses got up from the wilderness and went with his brother Aaron back to Pharaoh. As Moses came before Pharaoh, Aaron did the speaking for Moses, for Moses felt very humble about his speaking. "O Pharaoh, we ask you, will you let our people go?" Pharaoh looked and said, "I let your people go?" At that point, Aaron had a rod in his hand and he thrust it before Pharaoh. And at that, the rod turned into a snake. And the other magicians who were standing by threw their rods to the floor, and they turned to snakes also. But that snake that Aaron had thrown upon the floor ate up all the other snakes that were around Pharaoh's feet. But yet, Pharaoh would not listen to God, for he thought that he, Pharaoh, was God. So then God himself started the plagues. Moses turned to Pharaoh and said, "This water is going to stink." Pharaoh didn't believe it, but within a day the water turned to blood. And after that, the frogs came, and the lice, and the flies, and the boils. But now Pharaoh was becoming very sorrowful, and Moses went before him and said, "Now will you let my people go?" Pharaoh thought to himself, "No, I will not let your people go." At that point, God sent hail and fire upon Egypt. Then God himself sent locusts, and then the darkness came. After the darkness, Pharaoh was quivering. Moses came before him and said, "Please let my people go. If you don't, your firstborn will be taken. Not only you and your family and Egypt, but all of the cattle of the field." That night the Israelites put blood upon the doorposts as the angel of death flew over Israel. Not a one of the firstborn was slain. But now, as the angel moved towards Egypt, all the firstborn of Egypt were taken in death. Not only the children, but the animals too. Pharaoh said, "Now I will let the people go." For his son, the next to the throne, had died. On Israel went toward the Red Sea to leave Egypt, and the great Exodus began. Even the casket that Joseph was in, they took that as well, with their sandals upon their feet, and not a one of them lame, they headed out. Soon, Pharaoh changed his mind and said, "I'm going to take those slaves so I can build more pyramids, so I can take all their labor to myself." As they went ahead, they heard a sound they couldn't understand what it was. Soon, fear came into their hearts, for it was the chariots of Pharaoh coming after them. But God sent a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire between them and Egypt. Then Moses stood on the edge of the Red Sea, and as he lifted his staff, the sea rolled back and Israel went across on dry land. And at that moment, God made the cloud disappear, and the Egyptians came forward in their chariots. And as they went riding across the sea on dry land, Moses turned, lifted his staff, and as he did, all the waves crashed upon the army of Egypt. They were destroyed. But at that moment, then Moses looked up and thanked God with his sister Miriam, and with her tambourines started to sing and to dance. "Praise God for saving us, Israel. And as they sang and they danced, now they were free, headed towards the Canaan land.